up, my loves? It's your girl Diamond, and I'm back with my own new review of the Belle Collective. If you hear any noises in the background, that is my daughter. She is laying in bed. She's watching her tablet. So we continue on where we left off, which is Carrie dropping the bomb that there was a rumor going around about Mike having a baby. Apparently, Selena has already been aware of this type of rumor because Mike had told her. So it's of no surprise, but Lateshia has seen something about it but didn't connect it until something in the blogs popped up. And this is his old snapshot picture of Glenn, Mike, and Cliff. And somebody commented under and said, oh, one of them has a baby on the way. But nobody said who. So nothing happened after that. So they're just all wondering, how did this even come about? Latrice said, I have my ear in the streets, and I didn't hear anything about it. But Carrie said, that's so crazy because your husband was the one that told my husband. And Latrice was like, oh, word? Yes, word. So Selena's in her confessional also saying that Marie had told her about the rumor, even though Mike had already told her first, so she was aware, but she is still confused about how this could even be brought back up again. But how is it a shock if you've been aware of this rumor before? Then she said, this is the worst time for me to deal with this because I'm planning a wedding and I'm about to break. Okay, Selena, you are not going to annoy me with putting all of this energy on your wedding when you have already dealt with other problems with Mike that have questioned whether or not you should get married. So you've been aware of this rumor from the beginning, so it should not have affected you like this. If you've been aware of it, there's been no truth coming out of it, so you say. But we're going to get into that a little bit later. Right now, we're on to the next scene. Lateshia looks beautiful in this yellow suit she got on. She is trying to find a location space to do her pilot focus group presentation. All right. Her assistant manager is there. Donald, her EP, is there. And they talk about what took place at the photo shoot, which wasn't a good look. It shouldn't have happened. That was the worst time for that to happen. So now she has to talk to First. She FaceTimes First, and they talk about what happened. First said he regrets a lot of things in his life, and that's one of the things he absolutely regrets. It should not have happened. He felt like it went too far, and now he wants to move forward, and so does she. But she's still trying to leave space for Glenn to get through his feelings, so she tells him that he needs to take a leave of absence, and he agrees. That was the best decision. She appreciates First. First has been a major factor in her life. She's learned a lot from him. But my thing is this. You told Glenn when y'all met up that you had already told First he should take a leave of absence. Some time have passed, and you're now telling him he should take a leave of absence. So Lateshia, you're not standing on what it is you want. Your voice is not being clear. Because if you have to now actually go through with the process of telling First he should take a leave of absence, then you weren't comfortable with the way that things left off either. Because if that was the case, you should have made a decision when it first happened. But you waited until Glenn made a point to bring it up. You waited for Glenn to talk about how his feelings felt for you to then make a decision. You want to make sure you already had something already done before he questions you later on about how you never made any moves about it. Like, you're still waiting for him to say something in order for you to feel some type of way without you having to worry about what it is that he feels. Because it's fuck Glenn's feelings. Why should Glenn have any say-so of how you handle your team? Why should he be the first to know what is your plan moving forward of how to handle your team? That is your team, not his. He has no control about how you handle your team. But you wanted to make sure he was in the know, and you never made any decisions about it until you actually had to make a decision about it. Like, Lateshia, please. And I say it once, I'm going to say it again. I don't think that First was wrong. I don't think that First should be fired. I think he kept the same energy that Glenn had, and he apologized for the part he played. Glenn has yet to apologize for what he did. He's so concerned about how it was making him feel and how it made him look, then apologize to Lateshia because he wants to still use it as, I was being there to support my wife. Bye, Glenn. And now that First is going to take a break from managing her, all other responsibilities is going to fall on her assistant manager. Okay. So her assistant manager is also thanking Lateshia for giving her this opportunity to be a part of her team. And as far as the focus group, what do you plan to get out of it? she wants Lonnie Love to be a part of it. We all know Lonnie Love. She's a comedian. She is a TV personality, talk show host. She was on The Real. And she said Lonnie Love is a powerhouse and she inspires me. I said, okay, I ain't mad at you. So she wants to invite all the girls because we're all entrepreneurs, we're all business owners. She wants to carry that leadership into her focus group and keep that kind of environment going. And hopefully it'll go smooth and it won't happen the same way it happened at the photo shoot, which ended in disaster. Okay, fine. Moving on from there. We now have Latrice. She is at Taste getting some work done after what took place at the funeral. And Carrie is coming by because Latrice wants to get the record straight about how Cliff is not involved in this mess and he shouldn't have been thrown under the bus. Carrie knew why she was coming by, and she could feel that Latrice felt some type of way about her remarks, and hopefully they can move forward and still have a good time. So they talk about the Belle funeral, but Latrice want to talk about the Selena situation and that she didn't like that Carrie called out Cliff. And as far as bringing in information, what I don't want is my man to be involved in something that's affecting who we ride for. And Selena and Mike, they are our family. We ride for them. So when you brought my husband in the situation, it kind of pissed me off. Because what actually took place is Cliff overheard Marie talking about Mike and the baby. And Cliff was telling me about how Marie is being messy as hell over there talking about Mike and the baby and blah, blah, blah. So with hearing that, Carrie still said, well, once Matt told me what Cliff overheard Marie saying, I actually heard that Marie was talking about it at my party. She was talking to Selena about it at my party. Now, Latrice wants to connect the dots and assume that Marie, Lateshia, and Carrie all had a private conversation and talk about who's going to bring it to the table, who's going to bring up the rumor. But Carrie said, no, I didn't have no conversation with Marie about it or Lateshia. I had heard it through Matt, who had heard it through the guys. That's it, that's all. Carrie thought it made sense to throw it off on the guys because it felt like cool to do, like it didn't mean anything to do. And she didn't look at it as, oh, I got tea to spill. That's not how she envisioned it, of course. But Latrice still wants to stand on the fact that I don't want no mess attached to Cliff. And I ride for my husband. But Latrice, listen to what you said. If Cliff overheard Marie talking about it, and he ended up telling Matt about it, and Matt ended up telling his wife about it, you have to admit that your husband spread the rumor. Period, point blank. And I know you want to make it look as if it's not you and Cliff adding on to the laughter or adding on to the ridicule of doubt in Selena and Mike's relationship because those are your friends, real friends. I know you want to make sure it's protecting that image that you and Cliff, Selena, and Mike have a really good friendship and y'all wouldn't do anything to jeopardize their relationship, right? But at the end of the day, your husband was still a gossip Betty and he still carried the rumor. He still told somebody. Y'all need to understand something. Men are just as big as gossipers as women. While men have a different way of spreading information, you're still gossiping. And that's what Cliff did, Latrice. He gossiped. And for Carrie to feel like she had to throw it off to not make her look bad, it didn't make any sense to do that because you heard it from your husband, who heard it from Cliff, who overheard Marie. Period, point blank. Like the way that she lined down how the game of telephone was played, it was exactly how it was played. And so Latrice feels like Marie needs to stand up and admit that she spreaded the rumor, because if you're all about standing in your shit, well, stand in your shit and admit you brought it to the collective. And I don't disagree with Latrice on that, because if Marie had already been talking about it and it got spread around, then you need to admit why you said it. You need to admit why you brought this up. If you're not going to own up to the fact that you brought this up to the collective, then what are we doing here? Then we're not moving forward like we say we are. So Carrie does apologize to Latrice for putting her husband in it. And she even admitted she put her own husband in it. And I'm very sorry for that. I wasn't trying to be messy. And Carrie sees that Latrice moves differently when it comes to her husband. And I can understand that. And I don't like spreading rumors like that. I hope we can end this and put it to rest. And wanted to know, is she still cool with everybody? Is she still good with everybody? Say, yes, I am. I am good. I'm always good. My thing is, I don't even think Carrie needed to apologize to Latrice. And Latrice did not have to put it on so thick that she didn't want her husband to be involved in any mess. I get it, Latrice. You trying to change the image of how you and Cliff are not problematic. You and Cliff don't do things to start shit. I get all that. But in this case, you beating a dead horse with this. Your husband said it. He said it. Okay? He needs to admit that he said it. Moving on. Lateshia wants to still do her part by keeping everybody on the same page, and now she's about to have a one-on-one conversation with Tambra. And this is the first time in years that they've had a one-on-one. The last time they had a one-on-one was way back in 2021 when the first season came on, which is crazy. You haven't had a one-on-one with somebody that you called a friend for all these years? Yeah, that's crazy. So we get to Tambra. Tambra talked about how she was late to her baby's program. She ended up missing it. She was caught in traffic, but Damon took a video of it. She saw her baby did well, but it don't take away the fact that it was something that she missed. It was the first of the things that she missed. And I can understand if she took a couple of days of feeling mad and sad that she wished she could have, left a bit early and wished that she could have made on time. Because I felt that way as well. I missed my son's assembly and I cried because I didn't want to miss my son's anything. I never want to miss anything my kids got going on, right? So then Tambra is being open. You know what I'm saying? She's being transparent. She's talking about her father. How her father's doing much better. He was actually at the rehab center, and that was the reason why her parents wasn't able to make it to her daughter's program. And in her confessional, she said her father is doing so much better at the rehab center than he was at the hospital, and every day he's getting better. Another reminder he is still here. So while I'm seeing Tambra be completely open, telling Tisha what's going on in her life, and here comes Shante sashaying in, and I'm like, why is she here? Why is Shante here? And to Tambra's surprise, Shante is walking in, but Lateshia isn't surprised because she knew Shante was on her way, but she never told Tambra that she was bringing Shante. And Tambra's like, oh, we bringing friends? I know if we were bringing friends. If you brought a friend, I should be able to bring a friend. This looks like an ambush, and it is an ambush. And it's all a bullshit ambush if you think about it. The reason why Shante is here is because in Tisha's mind, she wants to continue with showcasing loyalty and transparency, and says that Shante has some news about Tambra and that she should tell Tambra to her face, and that she wants to now say, I'm operating on girl code, versus the way that Tambra and Latrice did not operate on girl code. Girl, how quickly we forget. You did not operate on girl code when you wanted to set up Tambra with the woman that was supposedly messing with Damon, and how you weren't operating on girl code when you and Marie set up and met up with her stalker and wanted to have her be confronted by it on the show. So you can fucking miss me with that shit. So Shante says she got some information to tell Tambra, and that the information is the word is going around about her and Damon are not in a relationship. They are just friends who decided to get back together for the sake of having a baby. But they're not in a romantic relationship. They're just two friends who came together to have a baby. And that supposedly she got another boyfriend. So when it came down to hearing that, Tim wants to know, who is this guy you claim you have? So Shante pulls out her phone and she showed her photo, and Tambra instantly bust out laughing. She said, girl, that's one of our clients. He owns a juice bar here. Like, girl, where did you come up with this? And Tambra was like, I should have known. I should have known once Shante was here that you was here to bring some mess. And I am back on my guard. Because where the hell did you get that from? And again, Lateshia, this is the same reason why Tambra don't trust you. Tambra is not safe in the collective of the shit and the stunts you pull. This is the reason why. So, love Tambra for this. She decides to reverse Uno on that ass and say, oh, since we bringing up rumors, let me give you one right back. Because apparently, you know Amanda, right? Now, Amanda had told me that Glenn told her that you and him are in an open marriage. And they were like, oh, what? Lateshia said, oh, Amanda still wants her 15 minutes of fame. But what are you giving Shante? She's been here longer than 15 minutes, and I don't want her here. So now you're trying to dismiss what Amanda said? See, you thought that Tambra's going to be welcoming information that Shante gave her. And when it's done to you, now you want to be like, oh, what? What is this? What was this? Girl, please. And then added that Glenn and you wanted to have Amanda for a threesome. And I loved it that she also turned to Shante and said, I think you was a part of that conversation too. I think that you were a part of that threesome as well. And, Tambra was like, I don't usually spread rumors, but if we're going to talk about rumors, let's talk about rumors. You know what I'm saying? Now, Lateshia definitely did not say if it's true or not. She just said, oh my God, this is what we still doing? Like, it could be true, it could not be true. Like, what we doing here? I honestly believe it, though, because there's no way, after everything this man has done to you, you are still willing to still stick by him. And that you're trying to come up with a boundary, you trying to come up with another kind of arrangement to still stick beside him. I definitely believe, Amanda, that there might have been a conversation that Glenn wanted to have you and Amanda for a threesome. I honestly believe that. Because I feel like Glenn want to have his cake and eat it too, and you're willing to give him that pass. And then at the same point in time, Tambra is saying that Amanda told her, that Glenn told her, that Lateshia is okay with Glenn stepping out as long as she's included. As long as she's part of the conversation, she's a part of the arrangement. And if we thought all this time he was cheating on you, but if you've been aware of it, is he cheating on you? Because you're pretty much allowing for him to do what he wants to do, right? As long as you are okay with it. Lateshia want to say her and Glenn do not have that kind of arrangement. I beg to differ. The fact that you're still willing to still stick by this man, you're still willing to still make a way to still be married to this man while trying to find your independence and still be begging for him to accept you, I don't have time. And then she said she don't have time for these rumors. It's all about staying focused and getting her focus group together. And she's inviting everybody. How are you saying you don't have time for rumors, but yet you wanted Tambra to sit there and talk about her relationship and how people don't believe that it's real or not? Girl, okay. Moving on from there. So now we got Selena and Mike. They're at a yoga studio doing some aerial yoga. Selena is getting the hang of it, but it looks very hard. Mike is not feeling this particular workout. I don't think he's comfortable with this kind of scene. I don't think he's comfortable in front of the cameras. So they take a break. They talk about what happened at the funeral, and they look over the obituary, and they talk about the rumor that Carrie brought up. Now, Mike mentioned it to her, and he didn't think it was real, but it is still lingering in Selena's mind. And she just wants to know, how come everybody else is aware of it, but yet it took for Carrie to mention it? So it's kind of like, what's going on here? But Marie has told you about it before, though. Mike told you about it. Marie told you about it. So why are you acting so shocked and confused that Carrie mentioned it? It sounds to me it's been a conversation that you've been aware it was happening. And then she's questioning, what am I a part of? Am I a part of a sisterhood? It don't feel like a sisterhood. Selena, you cannot be shocked by this. Did you not see the things that Lateshia did before when it came down to you and Soguchi? Did you not hear what was going to take place with Akeisha and Willie? Have you been aware of what took place with Tambra? Like, what you mean? You've been a part of a collective that isn't based on sisterhood. It's based on a hood, not a sisterhood. That means, for me, you were already aware that this rumor was going to be brought up. And I don't know why you won't just say, Marie, tell me about it. Why won't you just say, Marie was the one who said it may come up? Selena isn't focused on if the rumor is true. She is focused on how long this rumor has been lingering around in the group and who waited until Carrie has something to say. Now, you said you're not putting the blame on Carrie because Carrie's only been here for 2 seconds, but it sounds to me you're putting a lot of weight on Carrie's name. And I don't think I like that. Because you've been aware of it from the beginning, then why are you looking at Carrie sideways? I don't know. It's weird. I don't know. So then Latrice, she is, back at work again. She's overseeing the menu, making some changes to make things a bit more affordable. And Taste has been open for a year now. Business is doing great. And while opening a restaurant is a huge risk, it is a lot of work to stay open. And they have made a year that's good. And then Cliff comes down from the apartment and just chill. They're having another conversation about what's been going on with overseeing the menus and everything. She wants him to be more included, you know what I'm saying, be more a part of the process. But he feels like they have two different divisions. He's a part of the other division, she's a part of everything else. And they also had a community meeting at the church where they were discussing the complaints that they received. Like they were receiving complaints about loud noises, the parking, and she wants to make sure everything ran smoothly so there won't be any complaints because she wants to be a good patron. I want to make sure I am doing my best of being a businesswoman and making sure we are clearing out any issues. Now, when she got to the meeting, there were a lot of excuses of how they blamed them for how they were running their business. Like the music was too loud. Now, they said we can't turn the radio down, but that wasn't even taste that they had a problem with. They had a problem with people blaring their music when they were driving down the street or pulling into the establishment. Can't do anything about that. If people are blasting their music, I can't do nothing about that. And then they're talking about how late they stay open. They only open until 1. Other than that, they're closed. They shut everything down. And, you know, they just had a whole lot of excuses of trying to make Taste out to be a nuisance. And then when Latrice had all the evidence to counteract what they said, they had nothing to say. And she wants to make sure she is getting in good with the other establishments and be a good neighbor, be a good communicator, and come up with compromises. Because it sounds to me that the other neighbors wanted to make her out to be an issue, and it wasn't even her. So Latrice tells Cliff that she felt some type of way about Carrie throwing him under the bus about the baby rumor, and how me, you, Selena, and Mike, you know, we're a family, and that's not what we do. You can say it until you're blue in the face, Latrice. Your husband was the one that told Matt, I'm sorry. Because Carrie didn't know that Marie had told Selena until after the fact. So I don't think you should be feeling a way about Carrie bringing Cliff into the mix when y'all talk to y'all spouses. Y'all pillow talk. And Cliff heard it, and he couldn't wait to tell somebody. That's exactly what he did. So let's not do that. And to say how we don't want part of that mess, we don't want to jeopardize their relationship. I get that, Latrice, but you putting way too much on it, in my opinion. So now we talk about her wanting to be at peace and continue to be at peace. She has scheduled her surgery, and she wants to know if Cliff is going to be there the entire time, because apparently he left the other time while she was in surgery, and her mom is saying and watched her. He said he left to go get lunch, and you was in the hospital bed, cared for, knocked out. What do you want me to do? If there was a problem, the doctors were there to take care of it. Then Latrice tells us that it's not the first time that Cliff has left her like this. She said that he abandoned her at her birthday and he abandoned her on their anniversary. But she excuses those times and believes that her husband loves her and that he'll be there 100% of the time while she's in surgery and while she's out of surgery. Latrice, what do you want from the people? What do you want? And as far as you being upset at Cliff for leaving to go get something to eat, listen, that's a whole different conversation. If he left for about 30 minutes to an hour to go and find something to eat because hospital foods are horrible, that's not him leaving you when you needed him. You were taken care of. And if he has been there from the time you got to the hospital, went through surgery, and was knocked out until you were checked on, that should be okay for him to go and get something to eat. That's fine. It's a whole different if he left and never came back. If he left and went home and didn't come back, like that's another thing. But then you're talking about other times that he left you. Like, what do you want us to do? Be on your side or be against you? I don't understand. It's like you keep on trying to excuse all the things he's done that has hurt you, but you haven't fully forgiven him, and you still want him to make it right. Like, what is that? But moving on from there, we get to Letitia's focus group, where she wants to showcase her talk show, and she wants all the ladies to give her constructive criticism, and Shante was there as well. Why is Shante here? So when they show the reel, it only pans to Latrice and Tambra. It looked like they weren't paying attention, but hey, they probably were, they probably weren't. But they all gave her credit for putting on a good show. They all gave her really good constructive criticism. But let's go through Lonnie Love's first. She said she's always excited to see a woman of color come out following her dreams. Now, her opinion is lighting. Lighting is important, and your makeup is important. You want to make sure those two things blend, all right? Now, as a host, you kind of want to allow your guests to speak, and you're supposed to be a listening ear. You know what I'm saying? And you're answering them as much as they're talking. So it's not giving them the space to really tell their story without you talking and guiding them through it. Let them have that space. Cool. Now, the rest of the ladies gave her really, really good feedback. Carrie talked about the angle of the camera, how the angle of the camera showed Lateshia coming in from the set onto the couch. We shouldn't see the cameraman, the other director facing the camera to watch her come in. We should see her only entering the set, and we should only see your backdrop. We shouldn't see that part. I agree with that. Selena didn't like the lighting. Marie made a comment about your makeup looking great, but your neck had a shine. Latrice said you are emotional. You are a motivational speaker. This is your element, so you are very good at this. Tambra has also said you look good on camera, but you look produced when you first was appearing. But when your guest came, you got a little bit more comfortable. And that was good feedback. So they are giving her really good feedback that she should listen and adhere to and make changes and take it into consideration once her talk show gets picked up. So then they all sit down. And Selena wants to know, how could something off of social media being brought to the group? Who brought it to the group? Now she's recognizing that everybody is on mute. And she called out Marie was the one who told her. But why isn't anybody confessing? Then you say, Marie, you told me that this rumor was going to come up. If you waited for Marie to say something when you know Marie was the one who told you, then call out Marie, Selena. Latrice said, I didn't bring it to the collective, but then we go back to the picture. Someone sent that picture to the blogs, and somebody commented on it. Marie instantly saw it and wondered who could that have been about. That person didn't specify, and this was a year ago. But then Marie brought Carrie into the mix by saying she had heard it from her husband, who heard it from Cliff. Marie don't want to be held accountable that she was the one who said it, and Latrice wants to take the heat off her husband. But again, it is what it is, Latrice. And Marie, if you were seen talking about it, I don't know why you're trying to act like you didn't say it. Marie is denying she never said anything, and that somebody's trying to lie on her. How was it a lie on you when you were the one who told Selena? Selena said you told her. Why isn't Selena calling you out? I don't get it. So Selena ends up questioning Lateshia and asked her, did you know about the rumor already by the time I came to you about me and Mike having communication issues? Letitia's reasonings is bullshit. She said, yes, she knew, but she didn't want to say anything until she had actual proof, until she had an actual picture. Really? But there were no legitimate proof about what that stalker said about Tambra, and yet you still wanted to present it onto the show. I don't think there was any legitimate proof that this woman supposedly had a situation with Damon, but you still brought that onto the show. And you shut down any proof that Glenn and Amanda probably did have something going on. Okay. Again, I said that's bullshit. You should have told your friends right away. When she told you she was having problems in her relationship, that should have been the time to say something. Carrie was like, listen, we're not going to say this is like another woman. This is a whole baby. You know what I'm saying? A baby takes time to materialize. A baby takes time to show up, and it's been a year. So is there a baby or isn't there not a baby? But again, Selena is still acting so frustrated because I'm in the middle of planning a wedding, and I want to know who brought this to the collective. And her eyes are getting watery. She is feeling so mad and so angry. She wants to get to the bottom of it. And Carrie wants to make sure this is dead because we're not about to go along with this if we don't believe it. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know, Marie. I feel like you're trying to put all this up on Carrie, and I don't understand what she did to you for you to want to blame this on her when it wasn't even her fault. And I feel like Lateshia and Marie are trying to set up Carrie for the scapegoat, and I don't really like that. Because they knew about it, and they already had their own conversation about it, but yet they're allowing for Carrie to take the fall for it when all she did was repeat what her husband told her. Like, I don't like that. But Carrie ended up apologizing to Selena for that. But it's really funny coming from Lateshia, who said rumors are rumors, and we're not going to entertain them. We're not going to let it go. But you carried out a rumor that Glenn might have fathered another child. You sat on a reunion stage waiting for paternity results. You carried another rumor just recently to Tambra about her relationship. So what you mean rumors are rumors, Lateshia? Make it make sense. So Tambra ends up talking about her meetup with Lateshia and that Shante came and wanted to relay some information. And Shante wants to defend her information and pretty much was like, well, the situation is what it is. You and Damon have been together for a long time. Y'all were together when y'all were young. And now it's being said you guys aren't together. Y'all just came in and had a baby and that was it. And there's another guy in the mix. And Carrie asked her how did it make her feel. She said it was ridiculous because the guy they wanted to show me was one of our clients. And then Shante wanted to say, oh, girl, a client can't be a boyfriend. Tamara shut that down immediately. She said, what we're not going to do is play on anything like that because I have worked for everything that I have. And I'm not about to play on the fact that I am having some kind of relationship with a client of mine. That is not going to work. Do not pull me in on that BS. And I appreciate Tamara for saying that. I appreciate her for shutting that down. That is not something you should say, Shante. Oh, a client can be a boyfriend? No. Not unless it's going to ruin the reputation I've already made for myself. I am not about to be written off for all the work that I've done because I am messing around with a client. That's not going to make me look good. Like, the fuck out of here with that shit. Then the tree said, if somebody's going to bring something into the collective, it needs to be from a Belle. Anybody that's from the outside of the group is irrelevant. That's going to cause more friction. We don't want any more friction. We don't want no more outside noise. Here, Marie. So Shantae's outside noise? Hell yeah, she is. She is the biggest outside noise of the collective. We don't want her here. And then Tambra was also saying, girl, that was the first time I've ever sat down with you. I don't even know you. And this is the first thing you tell me? This is what you give me? Girl, that's fucking BS with that shit. Now, Shante didn't like that she was called outside information, outside noise. I am Shante. Well, Shante, you can satisfy your ass outside. Nobody wants you here. I've had the same question I've had since you first came on here. Why are you here? Lateshia, do not put her on us because you didn't like that Latrice put Amanda on us. You know what I'm saying? Amanda was supposed to be a Belle anyway, but you shut that opportunity down for her because she talked about your husband. I don't got time for this. Because who are you, Shante? I don't like you. I don't like you. I don't like you. I don't like you. There, I said it. Because why is Shante here? And why is Shante involved in Belle conversations? The hell she doing here? She's her purpose, Lateshia. Other than being your lap dog, other than being your do girl, why is she here? But y'all, that was pretty much the episode. It was cool. I don't have nothing to say about it. But y'all, that's just all I have. Please stay tuned for the next video. I'm see you guys later. Bye.